right? I am looking at your own self in the mirror and really looking at, the we, the inner, right? I have something that I said. So I left India and I came all the way here as a student, right? So that I thought that was the longest journey that I had covered in my life, but really the longest journey from here to here, right? And I trying to look at what I was really, and that was frustrating. And I wasn't making any progress for almost when I was seeing all this ladies in the group. Coach Kathy was doing a phenomenal job, and I'm looking at these ladies and I'm saying, I am not feeling the same thing, right? So I'm not something. I'm getting frustrated because I'm not feeling it.
Welcome to Why She's Winning with your host, Christy Rutherford, a master of office politics and self-care advocacy. Christy's clients have received over $10 million in salary raises in a pandemic. Surprised that women are still getting paid during these challenging times? It's possible for you too. You can have it all if you believe you deserve it. Christy and her guests will assist you with that. Let's get started.
So, welcome everyone to Why She's Winning. I am your host, Christy Rutherford, talking all out. So, today we have the amazing and phenomenal Aruna Tikar. Aruna is a supply chain leader helping Fortune 500 companies develop and streamline their supply chain operations for over 20 years of stellar supply chain career. She's an expert in identifying end-to-end supply chain risk and developing realistic, attainable risk mitigation plans. In recent years, the focus has been helping pharmaceutical startup companies set up their supply chain operation, including building temperature control warehouses, bringing in suppliers, negotiating contracts, procurement, logistics, global distribution, forecast, and demand planning, sales and inventory and operations planning, hiring and ERP implementation. So yes, the whole 9 yards. That's what Aruna does. Don't get it twisted. And she is the co-owner of a boutique fitness gym. Ow, and then some. Her career has spanned across automotive, consumer goods, sporting goods, pharma, biopharma, and biotech industries. She has also won several top employee awards in her organizations. Nobody is shocked at that. My God, this bio is longer than mine. All right, so Aruna is a mentor to several young women to navigate the male-dominated supply chain function. She guides women and men of the immigrant population to get a foothold in this demanding career. She does this through various membership organizations and personally. She's passionate about girls' empowerment. She volunteers in various girls-oriented groups in the community. She has an international MBA in global supply chain and operations management from the #1 business school for international MBA in the US, an advanced diploma in strategic business program from Global Top 10 German #1 business school, and an MBA in human resources management from the top business school in India. God, dog, you got more degrees than me. Welcome, Aruna.
Hi, Christy. How are you?
All right. So, Aruna, we got the ladies on the line. So we got Kathy is showing up. Robin says she had to pull over. Leandra is here. You got the Eagle crew in the house.
Hi.
Carly came through. And then I saw Dana in there somewhere. So welcome, Jennifer. All right. So, Aruna, what was going on with you when you decided to reach out and schedule a call and talk to us about working together?
Oh my God, where do I start? So I, for a new biopharma company, and I did everything. I started a warehouse and DA regulated commission from planning. I worked with the architect, set up their ERP, everything, hit their budget, bottom line, went to the town, presented, helped them get the approval, everything. And the month after I finished, I was let go because we weren't getting business, or that's what they said. So I was looking at this and I said, well, that doesn't wrong, and how do I change the narrative? And I have been following you for quite some time on LinkedIn, And I like what you're doing with a lot of women, and I had been watching you at that point. And then so I said in January, so let me call Christy and see how I can change my narrative, how I can jumpstart my career. And that's what I did. I called you and we had that conversation. I think we were scheduled to call for 20 minutes or something like that, but I think we spoke for more than 45 minutes. And it's so much what you said at the time made sense to me, right? I was always trying to fit in this box, trying to impress someone else and trying to be fitting into their line of expectations, right? This is the expectation set for me. And I was trying to fit myself into it. And that is what you said is, and it made so much sense that that's causing an inner turmoil within me, right? So I am capable of doing more, but I'm and different personality to me, but I try to confine to what's expected out of me. And I liked what you said. I needed to understand myself first, and that's where the journey started, right? So that's where from January we started this journey. It was it was a struggle at the beginning because I thought I was doing great, right? I am all of this double MBA, put myself through college and all that stuff. But what happened, right? And I don't know. And yeah, that was a struggle to accept what I was hearing and understand it, to know that what I was going through is actually not a recent something that's come out of a recent experience, but it goes back to the childhood, right? That in itself was So that's where we started our journey. I don't know if you recall all that you said. I don't want to quote any of those now.
Hey, Christy Rutherford here. Do you want to learn how to ask for and get a 30% raise without getting another degree? Look, Black women are the most educated and the least paid. That should tell you that math is not mathing. The degree is not the path to the next level. It's actually learning how to articulate the value and take credit for the work that you've already done. So I want to invite you to get my free case study at changenowwithchristy.com. Just get the information, use it, and take the money out of the hands of your employers and put it into your household because you already deserve it. You just have to know how to ask for it. Again, changenowwithchristy.com. I can't wait for you to get this insight, use it, and get the money that you deserve. Take care. Yeah, we're not gonna tell all your business. I do remember where I was when I talked to you though. I was in my hometown in South Carolina in the Walmart parking lot, like talking to this lady forever. Like, yeah, you need to get your life right. You got all these degrees and you don't know how great you are, and you think your job is the problem, but you're something the problem. Like that. Something like that.
Yes, okay. Something like that. Yeah. So you need to understand and not, dial down, but actually show your real worth, right? And that was kind of let's just add it, right? To summarize the conversation that way.
Well, so let me turn. Can you turn? I want you to turn the speaker down a little bit on my side, coming to you. Like turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah, I was in the Walmart parking lot, Leandra, in the Walmart parking lot in South Carolina, because that's the place to hang out. So, all right. So what was it when I told you to look in the mirror, which is typically offensive, right? To most high achieving badass double MBA women, like what was that like for someone to say, one, you're not alone, and two, don't be talking about your boss, is you. What was that like?
Frustrating. Really, right? It's I am looking at your own self in the mirror and really looking at the inner, right? I have something that I said. So I left India and I came all the way here as a student, right? So that I thought that was the longest journey that I had covered in my life, but really the longest journey from here to here. right? And I trying to look at what I was really, and that was frustrating. And I wasn't making any progress for almost when I was seeing all this ladies in the group. Coach Kathy was doing a phenomenal job, and I'm looking at these ladies and I'm saying, I am not feeling the same thing, right? So I'm getting frustrated because I'm not feeling it. And then one of the sessions, maybe more than halfway through, is when it dawned on me, right? And actually, Coach Cheryl and Kathy both in the thing, and they said, "You are way over in here. So you are overthinking this. You should be actually be feeling it, not thinking it, right?" So that feeling part, which to me as a professional, no, it's all about in my head, right? I'm analyzing stuff. I'm logically thinking, but not feeling anything. And that's what changed it, right? Oh, okay. So let me start doing it, right, for a change. And I had to go back, take all the classes again. So I was halfway through the group and I went back and did the homework again. When I did that, I could feel that there was a difference in how I was responding to the same questions, same lessons, right? Um, yeah. So, and that's what I said is it definitely worth it to do it right way. Yeah.
So let's talk
And
about
it was hard to answer. It's a long-winded answer to your question. Yes, it was very, very hard.
yeah, let's talk about feeling versus doing, because a lot of high achieving women, we get stuck and locked up right here because we have to go for it and we have to do, and the doing starts long before we even get to work. Like, we learned as kids to just to study, to get good grades, to get bad grades. I was an entertainer in school, so I got straight, I was a C student, but I was funny, right? So it's one of those things where we stop feeling after a while. And so what makes us a little different in this program is we got to get you said the longest journey that was so good was from here to here, and it's what you were missing in feeling successful. So what we'll do, you got 1,000,000 degrees, you have all these awards, you have all this experience, but you never felt successful because you stopped feeling and you only looked at it logically, and feeling accomplished for a high achieving woman is actually illogical. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and it was tough. Like I said, before I came here, before I made the decision in my 20s, I was the youngest management staff in the major top airline in India, right? And I thought I had made it, but well, it came to be then this is not what I wanted. I attributed to so many different reasons, but it wasn't. I was not feeling successful. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling that happy, right? In other words, I always felt, okay, this is my next step. Maybe when I go there, right? That's my next step. This is my next step, and that's how my entire career was. And as you said, it was childhood, right? So okay, if I go, I do this, and then I get phenomenal grades at my 10th grade, which is in India, you have to get 10th grade, then 12th grade, then you college and stuff. And each and every step, I told myself, okay, this is going to be the next step, right? And I do this, then I would have made it. Never fit, right? I never felt that, even though on paper it looked great. And one time you showed me the circle of why do I feel that way? I get the recognition, but I don't feel it. So I am feeling miserable. And then again, and it's a circle, right? I was caught up in that circle. And that I had to break that circle. I would say thinking comes easily because we are rational. Thinking is very easy because you just logical thinking. It's rationalized. And as you know, I'm from India, and you don't show your personal feelings at work, right? You have to have a decorum. You don't bring your entire personal self to work. You have to keep it. Of course, you don't have to be mean to people who are mean to you, but then there are ways to show and have that conversation, right? I was avoiding conversations that I should have had for a long time in my professional and personal life. And because I was thinking that I could get away with it, but I had to start feeling and deal with it, right? So that's the difference. Thinking is very easy. Feeling is definitely tough for, I don't know if it's for every high achieving woman, but it was definitely true for me.
So let's talk about, I remember when you said, this is funny, the people at your job said you had a strong personality. I said, that's not a compliment. You were like, really? I'm like, no, they're calling you a low-key bitch, right? Like, you were like, what? Like, when men say you have a strong personality, you were like, oh, okay, they said I have a strong personality. I was like, girl, that was not a compliment. Again, Leandra, in the Walmart parking lot. I don't forget the conversation. So talk to.
So yeah, that was it, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know what they were telling me because I was just thinking. I'm sorry, just thinking about what they were saying, literally translating it, and not understanding the feeling behind what they were telling me, or the context behind it. Yes, let's stop there. I'm not going to elaborate on it.
No, I'm just saying, right? Like, if they were giving you feedback, but you were trying to make it logical, like, oh, okay, yes, I do have a strong personality because I'm the itch. Like,
yes.
Did you hear my bio? Do you see my awards? Then absolutely, I have a strong personality. Not knowing that, they were like, yeah, you a little aggressive. So what's the difference in how you show up energetically now and how you used to show up? What's the difference?
I think the major difference is in my presence, right? I think my presence, as you mentioned the word being aggressive. I carried the chip on my shoulder, really, saying, yeah, I have all these degrees. I know my supply chain. Yeah, I do know my supply chain. And the major part of it, when somebody questioned something, I was like on the defensive mode. And that doesn't have to be necessary, because I realize now that they maybe come from a place where they truly don't know, right? It's just their way of asking me to explain or probably show them, which is even better, how this is done, rather than questioning my credentials, right? I can do what somebody actually told me there are very few people who can do the whole gamut of supply chain. I do end-to-end supply chain. And I deliberately designed my career that way. I wanted to know every aspect of supply chain that there is. I have a mentor in supply chain, and he told me long ago in my first job that this will help me in the long run. And I've spent most of my career getting that experience. So when someone asks me, why are you doing this? I take it as, are you questioning my knowledge? Like, right? And then now I come across as, no, that person not really know why this is done this way. It comes naturally to me, but known to them. So that's, yeah, that is, so I'm no longer, I'm like, I could tell you, okay, this is why, and I wouldn't be like, why are you asking me that question? To, okay, this is why I do this way.
Hey, Christy Rutherford here. I want to tell you about my resume course, how to use the superpower method to write an irresistible resume to land you a high-paying job. If you can't figure out why you can't get to the next level, if you think that there are barriers to your success, that's not it. If you haven't learned how to adequately take credit for the work that you've done, if you don't know how to articulate it and even give it to a resume writer that you've paid $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to, if you haven't given them the right information, then how can they output something that is of quality and value? So go ahead, get this course. It's less than $50. Get the information, use it, and write an irresistible resume that will get you the salary that you deserve today. So click on the link on around this video or go to thesuperpowermethod.com. Get it, use it, get paid what you deserve today. So now you can see, now that you've connected, and really when you connect with yourself, you're more present with yourself. You're more patient with yourself first. So then you're more patient with other people. And so once you came back to self and you got in tune with yourself, you could hear people actually ask you curious questions and not set it off because you think they were questioning your intellect, when really they wanted to know the answer to the question because you're gifted. And so you were like, what did you just say to me, Frank? And he was like, I just wanted to know how you did it. You're so profound. And then you give them the business and then you don't have the opportunity to
yes.
build that relationship.
I do not like to talk about it, but that's how that is exactly what it was.
I mean, again, y'all, I apologize for the internet. I'm in Jamaica. One day I'm gonna sit down and have some strong internet somewhere, which probably won't happen. So we're gonna work with it. Y'all got Aruna, y'all got me, we're good. Y'all pay attention. Y'all sit up and pay attention. So how
need your own satellite, Christy.
I know I do need my own satellite. So how do you, because the thing about, high achieving women, Aruna, and we're tired and we're exhausted, and we're not that patient with ourselves, so we don't really have that much patience with other people. And so I always, when people want to talk to organizations about what they should be doing for women and women of color, I'm always on the side of, there are some barriers that we create for ourselves and we're completely oblivious about it. So how do you see now some of the things that you were creating for yourself that, that you can give advice for other women? Even like Amanda was like, I thought, having a strong personality is like, no, girl, that ain't no compliment. So what are the ways, the build relationships is one of them. You can assist other women because you're on the back.
Okay, Christy, you have to repeat the last line because you were breaking up.
Okay.
The question.
Okay. Yeah, looking now, some of the things that you now see how you're creating barriers to your success. Because I want other women to understand so they can move forward and jump over.
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer because each person is different and each experience they come from their experiences. And my experience caused me to be on the defensive mode. I would say to understand where you're coming from is the key. Why? So now if I were to do this differently, go back, 5-10 years of my career, 20 years of my career, and say, why was I doing this? What caused me to do this? And stop before I even got into that spiral mode, right? So that destructive spiral, and stop and question myself instead of letting myself go into it. And most of my exhaustion or fatigue or frustration came from that disconnect. Feeling the context. I'll talk about how email does not have a context. Sometimes even in a boardroom conversation, even in a face-to-face meeting, it's hard to get the exact context because each person is talking from their experience. And I think the difference would be to not be judgmental of the other person. And that's what I would be doing differently. And I did not know I was doing this, and I was doing it subconsciously, right? I did not know that there were triggers that even certain words would cause me to trigger some responses, right? It triggered that somebody in my childhood said, or somebody, something, to know what would trigger and to know what my trigger, that was phenomenal. That was the breakthrough to know, okay, this is why I react this way. And I would say for people to take that time, right? To take the time and know themselves. And I think we all, the business school, for example, prepares us enough to do a presentation in front of whole, big team or an audience. I think to know to speak to that individual person, that was to know where they're coming from and not be judgmental and be open, listen. They say listening, but I think listening with open mind, that's the key.
I love it because what I want to do through this series and the work that I do is to make women aware of what they're doing. Now, we're not saying that we don't have challenges in leadership. We're not saying that women of color don't have different experiences, or women don't have different experiences, especially women of color don't have different experiences. I'm not saying that. What I want us to do is to be able to understand and own how the process of our childhood and then work experience has created some barriers that we can break down. You look good, girl. You look good. You look 20 years younger, Aruna. So you look good as you're fixing your hair. But so one of the cycles that you were caught in was proving people wrong, or you were working for affirmation and validation, which started in childhood. If I get good grades, then my parents will clap. If I do this, then my parents will clap. If I do this, so you're seeking approval through actions and serving. And so now you're 20, 25 years in your career, and you have the wall of, I'm sure if you hung up your awards on the wall, like it'll decorate the Rockefeller Christmas tree. So you have all these things, but at a certain point in leadership, people stop clapping. Which makes you work harder. Does that make sense? Like nobody's really clapping for the awards, and you don't know that unconsciously you're addicted to it. So you're like, okay, so you're not going to clap for that. Let me go get the next one. You're not going to clap because I'm in the top 10%, but let me go get in the top 1%. And then you're looking around and there's this cone of silence and you're like, what is going on? I thought that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. Absolutely. So yes, the more you want to achieve, the less you know, the less you get, because it's the want.
So how has this this experience changed your relationship with your family, right? Because you have a spouse, you have kids. Like how have you connecting from your head to your heart changed that?
I think I'm able to stand in my truth, right? So not going into a lot of details, I can stand in front of my family and speak my truth. There was in the Atlanta meeting, Coach Raquel talked about, do not dim her experiences. And then she finished off with a thing called don't dim your lights. And I tell you that I have been thinking about it, and it's one of my affirmations, right? Don't dim your lights. It's so culturally, some of the Eastern cultures and some cultures and in some families, they say, do your thing, don't ask for anything. I didn't even ask for my raise ever, right? Because if I did my job, Well, it came to me, right? I was just supposed to be given, and I am not supposed to talk about my accolades. And there's a lot of things you do, you don't do, and it is culturally ingrained into you. And also how you behave, how you don't behave, and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And so to be able to stand in front of the family and keep my head up and own the room, right? And when I needed to, that is different from what I have been in my 40 plus years of existence. I've always tried to fit a line. I would, fit into a box that was made for me, toe somebody else's line, right? Do exactly like what I was asked to do, because that's the way I was brought up, right? This is how you do it, right? And this is, you either listen to me or whatever the consequences. To be able to stand there and say, hey, I am of such and such an age, and I have a thought, right? I do have my own existence, and to stand there and speak that truth. It has taken me this long. And own it, right? Own what I am right now, that I don't have to fit into anyone's box. So that relationship, actually, when I did that, it has actually improved some of the relationship, right? It has improved my relationship with my birth family and my extended family, because now I don't know, maybe they sensed that I am trying to fit into something that I really don't fit into, right? This isn't me. That I am bigger than a box. So I'm like trying to squeeze myself into that box, and that was uncomfortable for me, right? And they read it right inside the thing. And now when I can stand the truth and say, I don't fit in the box is too small for me.
Hey, Chris Rutherford here. I hope that you're enjoying the podcast so far. But what I know that you'll love even more is joining us in our private community. Join us in this private community, Money Loves Happy People, and get live and on-demand insights so you can use this information to live the life that you truly and deserve. Get a raise and a promotion, no problem. Step into your purpose, no problem. Get the relationship that you deserve, no problem. Look, it's never too late to live the life that you deserve. It's never too late to live a life of total fulfillment. You just need information and inspiration to get on the path to living your greater life. So go ahead again, click on the link on around this video, join us in our private community, and change your life for the best. Take care. See you soon.
I'm bigger than this. I don't need a box. I'm like, and I'm not going to toe your line. I can think for myself. When I say the truth, I think they are able to receive the truth. There was some pushback, right? But then ultimately they see it. So that way, I will say my relationship in my personal life has improved too. And I am more present, and I'm happier than I ever was. Right? I can't please everyone. I am not looking to please everyone. That, I think, is the major change in my life, is I am not trying to please the people that now I know I can never please. And so far, I've been trying to please them all. And I think it translates into every walk of life. No one's able to please anyone at all the time, right? All the people at all the time. So yeah, that was a major step. And I definitely say, Christy, that call I made in January, that changed it all. And I am so glad. And I believe in the cosmic, Althea will tell me this. Everything happens for a reason. And I think, and thank you for taking that call from the parking lot of Walmart. It did change how I look. And for every single person, I think, who is coming from the background as similar as I am, I have met so many people, immigrant families, who are very similar, men and women, right? And it is true to some extent. Trying to toe someone's lies and pleasing people that you can't necessarily please. And I think to break that bond is very important for us to be in the present, for us to be successful.
So I titled this "How to Redefine Success." So, what does success mean to you in January, right? And when did we start again? Was it like February, March? So, what does success mean to you then, and what does it mean to you today?
We started a little after mid-January, but then I had to go back and take my classes, so I don't know. And success at the time, how do I put this? At the time, the success I was chasing after was what would look good on my resume, right? That was my success. That's the thing, right? What am I going to do next? What experience am I going to get next? But the success that I'm looking for now is, what do I define success as for myself, right? What did I wanted to achieve as a child, right? Before I was influenced by anything. When I was in 6th grade and 7th grade when I had huge plans for myself, right? What am I going to be? And I always wanted to give back to the community. And I don't want to go into details, but so that is my new definition of success. I always carried, Ralph Waldo Emerson has a great definition for success. I mean, it's pretty long. He says, when you leave the world a little better, that is that's how you define success in life. That's the bottom line of it. It's a pretty long poem. And I was very moved by it, and and I'd forgotten it, and now I have reclaimed it. So that's how that is redefining success, right? What looks on the paper looks good, yes, but what really looks good is what you really want to achieve. What do you want to be? And I have found that to go back to your roots and go dig into yourself and bring it out, and then what did you as a child wanted to become? Now, I'm not saying, that's not what I'm about, but really when you're trying to think about what was your real, what did you define your success in the formative years? And that I was able to redefine my definition of success to what I really wanted to achieve, and what really I want to achieve. I'm still in the process, but I know I'm getting there.
Well, you're moving
because I'm
there
not
through
chasing
feeling.
after paper success, right?
Yeah, you're moving through feeling now, and so now you're kind of feeling it out, and you're moving towards joy. So I got 2 more questions.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
You're moving through it. You're moving towards joy, and now you're feeling your way through it. So you can see it, but now you're also feeling your way to what it means to you, and it's an ongoing process. Did you hear me? I think we both got janky internet. Hello? I can see myself.
So it was an ongoing process, and then what?
I said you're moving your way through it, through the way that you feel. It's an ongoing process.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the last part.
It's an ongoing process.
Was it a question, Christy?
Nope. This is my question. You ready? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like going through this process with a group of women?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. It's a delay, y'all. I'm in Jamaica with janky internet. So what was it like going through this process with other women?
I will call I will define this slightly differently, right? So not just other who are equally or more accomplished, right? And I say this with so much pride. I mean, I was in a room with 20-25 people, and I will tell you, nobody, I mean, I have been to so many networking events because that's my bread and butter. I have never seen so many accomplished people, men or women, in a same room as I saw at the meet in Atlanta. There were so many similar women who have achieved and been there and done that, and yet missing something, right? And then we are all chasing, understanding, going through a journey of what are we missing. And it was great, from Diane, from Stephanie, my Eagle crew, like Leandra, Carly, Dana. I call out each and every one, Coach Kathy. We all have been through that journey and supporting each other. Leandra calls this the tribe, right? The crew, the tribe. And I support it. And it's that the tribe, basically. It's your group of people who truly want what's best for you, right? Which is, and that was new to me. Right? I was always set up in the among competitive personalities, right? We are trying to compete, but here there is a group of women who are who are well accomplished, who want you to be successful, and they do understand that it's not a plus minus game. It is everyone can win. There is a place in the world for everyone, right? And that was phenomenal. That was so much. I was soaking every moment of it, right? It was awesome. And it is. And I have formed some great relationship. I know I will carry through the rest of my life. And it's like I'm grateful for that experience. And I think to walk with those women together is an experience I will never have if I hadn't joined this. I mean, I never would have had similar experience anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about once you become
And
free.
yes, the group of women are phenomenal. I called out some of them, doesn't mean the others are not,
I think we got like a 30-second delay. So the thing about having high achieving, badass as unicorn riding women is once we're free, there is no ego in the room. Let's just party, one. Two, let's learn some stuff, but it's not about, who's the baddest chick in the room. Everybody's bad, right? Who has the most degrees in the room? Everybody has 1,000,000 degrees. So we can actually just be comfortable with being vulnerable. And I think that's the space that we're missing as high achieving women, is like women and men will weaponize our weakness. And so you can be comfortable to just let your hair down and just relax a little bit into yourself. And then there's that shared space of respect amongst all the women in the room, because everybody is somebody.
Right. And also, I don't think we ever find people who are in a similar boat as us, right? Similar, and not the same experience, but similar background, right? Similar experiences and trying for this almost a similar kind of outcome, right? You want to understand yourself, I think. I think that makes a lot of difference.
So
and
last question,
like how you say vulnerability. I know how you make you put vulnerability as something that you don't have to shy away from. It's okay to be vulnerable. You make that evident, and you bring it out into the dynamics, and that makes that helps a lot.
Yeah, because we're terrified to be vulnerable in all areas of life. Terrified. Which is why we say locked up in our heads.
Yes, you can say that.
No, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that? Go ahead.
All right. No, I just agree with you 100%. We are terrified to be vulnerable. We are terrified to let people know what is our true self, right? And when you are in that group of women, in that group, you don't have to be afraid to be yourself. Yeah, I rarely let my hair down like that. I rarely am cracking up or or dancing, for that matter, in a professional setting. But that didn't feel like a professional setting. It felt like I am in the middle of a group of friends, if I can take the liberty to say that, you know.
Okay, one last question. What advice do you have for women who are on the fence and they are thinking about joining the Vision Finder Masterclass clique? What advice do you have for them?
If they want to know the true self, their true self, right, and then translate that to being truly successful, right? There is being successful and there is being truly successful, and be happy. Really, I feel joy every single day, right? I feel joy when I wave. I put my daughter into the bus every morning, right? It's not like I am going to run, I'm starting another dreary day. What do I have at work? Yes, work is there, and I still have to do certain things. But then there is joy in every single small things, It's the journey we can live, and then we can take the journey. And if you do really want to take the journey and want to truly feel the joy and be truly successful, I think this is a place to come to, take that plunge. I followed you, like I said, for almost a year before I made that call. I could have made that call, and I don't make decisions lightly. And it was the best decision in my life. It changed my relationship with myself, with my career, and with my relationship with everyone around me. And that translates into not just your career, but realizing your dreams. And that's what I would say to anyone who wanted it. Try it. There's not much to lose. It's only everything to gain.
Okay, awesome. Did you ever connect with Lena? So that's a complete side note. So
you're breaking up again.
All right, we're almost done. We got the last minute. So you all can join us at my upcoming virtual event, levelupwithchristy.com, where I'm going to break it down from 9 to 2 next Saturday morning on how to calculate your value. But really what I want to talk about is how to reclaim your peace, how to reclaim your dreams, and how to reclaim your time. Aruna, you're absolutely amazing. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You de-aged. Like, how old are you, Aruna? 25? And we did have Aruna in the room doing the Soul Train line in Atlanta. We'll put your business out there in the streets. No videos will be shared ever. I want to thank the Eagle crew for showing up, and all the Vision Finder Masterclass women for showing up and support your sister. I mean, that's really what it's all about, right? So all right, Aruna, don't drop off yet, but the tribe has shown up. They are here for you. And I think that's what we're missing in senior leadership is we're actually missing women who are just as great, cheering for us to get to the next. Definitely appreciate you showing up and sharing your insight, so women can make the choice, even just using the insight that you gave to change. And that's really what we all want to do. And that's the plan of these, this podcast is to just let women know that there can be a different reality for them. So thank you so much for showing up. Take care, y'all. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review if you love this episode. Follow Christy on Instagram and LinkedIn. And don't forget to get her free gift by texting Change Now, all one word. Again, Change Now to 66866. Until next time, go out and win bigger.